It's my pleasure to be able to come and read to all of y'all today. And I know that there's been a lot going on, that you haven't been in school. And this is my son, Drew, who wanted to come with me today. And one of the reasons that I picked the book that I picked is because I wanted you to know that no matter what happens throughout this deal, we're going to be back in school and you can do it. All of your teachers, all your parents, grandparents, everybody's pulling for you, and we're going to be able to get through this and get started back to school, and you guys will be doing just as good as you were when you left. Now, the book I picked, You Can Do It, the author is Tony Dungy. And so Tony Dungy was the coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the
Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, and so he won a world championship with the Indianapolis Colts, and guess who his quarterback was?
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck was one of his quarterbacks, but his other quarterback was from the University of Tennessee. He was number 18.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. So I'm going to read You Can Do It. All right. Tony's little brother Lyndon was having a bad day. To begin with, his tooth hurt a lot. And then in the middle of class, Lincoln touched his sore cheek, and he accidentally made a big loud noise that sounded like a duck quacking. Everyone started laughing at him, except his teacher, Miss Lee, who said his parents could expect a call tonight. All this made it hard for Lyndon to concentrate on the lesson. Miss Lee went around the room asking everyone what they dreamed of being someday. When it was Lyndon's turn, he realized he was the only one who had no idea. "I don't know," he answered. "Maybe a duck." Everyone started laughing again. Lyndon liked it when he made people smile, but Miss Lee was not smiling. He couldn't wait until the bell rang so he could walk home with his big brother, Tony. Tony tried to cheer up Lyndon on the way home. "Hey, Lyndon, why don't you go out for a long pass just like I taught you?" Tony called out as he pulled the football from under his arm. The ball spiraled through the air in a perfect arc and landed in Lyndon's arms with a soft thud. Lyndon waved the ball proudly. "Maybe someday I'll be as good at sports as you are," he said to Tony as they continued to walk home. Lyndon knew his brother hoped to become a football player when he grew up. Tony could already throw a football so far and high. You might as well pack a snack to eat while waiting for the ball to come down. Tony playfully punched Lyndon's arm. "That's cool, little brother, but remember what Mom and Dad always tell us." I know, Lyndon said. "Whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. Trust God and dream big." But Lyndon wondered if playing football was really what he wanted to do. "That was Miss Lee again," Lyndon's dad said as he hung up the phone. "What did he do this time?" Lyndon's mom asked. "Was he quacking like a duck during math again?" "Actually, no," Dad replied. "This time it was in English class." "Oh no," Mom sighed, then added, "but you have to admit, he does a great duck call." "That he does," agreed Dad as they watched the boys race to the house behind their sisters Sherry and Lauren. "But he should not be doing it in the middle of class." "Mom, Dad, guess what we did?" asked Sherry. "We saved a baby bird and put it back in its nest," said Lauren eagerly. "You'll both make great doctors or nurses someday," exclaimed Mom with pride. "Maybe I'll be a doctor or a nurse someday," thought Lyndon. Just then his tooth gave him a sharp pain and he remembered what had happened at school. "Lyndon, Miss Lee called today." Dad took a closer look at Lyndon. "Why are you rubbing your jaw?" "I wasn't quacking this time, Dad. My tooth was hurting, and when I rubbed it," Lyndon pushed the side of his mouth and out came a loud quack. Next thing I know, everybody was laughing. Lyndon turned to his mother and said, "Mom, my tooth really hurts." He had a hurt tooth, doesn't he?
We have a cavity, who knows?
Yeah. Mom took a closer look at Lyndon's sore tooth. This tooth explains today, but does that explain other two calls we've gotten from your teacher? "No," said Lyndon. "I just like to make people smile." But he put his hands in his pockets, tried hard not to cry. "Besides, your tooth, what's wrong, son?" asked Dad. "It's just that Tony and Sherry and Lauren know they're it, and I don't know my it." "They're it?" asked Dad. "They're it. what they may dream about, what they want to be. It's like you always tell me, you can do it, dream big. But I don't know what it is. Don't you worry about that, son. I promise you, you'll find your dream in your own time. For now, let's put something on that tooth to make you feel better, and we'll get you fixed up in the morning. But Dad could see that Lyndon was still feeling down. How can I make this better, he thought. How can I help Lyndon find his dream? It was Tony's turn to say the dinner prayer, and that night was extra special. Dear Lord, thank you for the blessing us this way. You do. Thank you for the food, and thank you for our dreams. Tony said with head bowed and his eyes closed extra tight. Please help Lyndon find his it. Amen. What are you thinking about? Tony asked, tossing a pillow across the room before bedtime. Is your tooth still hurting you? A little, answered Lyndon, but I was thinking about your prayer tonight. I trust and I pray every day too, but I still don't know. What is my big dream? I'm not sure, Lyndon said. One day you will, though, said Tony. But I do know one thing. You will be when you grow up. Really, you do, Lyndon said anxiously. Yeah, no matter what you do or how big you get, you still will be my baby brother. Tony teased. As my baby brother, you have to go to bed before me. Good night, Lyndon. Why do baby brothers have to go to bed before big brothers?
Because you're younger.
That's right. We have that discussion every night, don't we?
Yeah.
Early the next morning, Dad and Lyndon were on their way to the dentist, but they had to make a stop at Dad's science lab first. There's something I want to show you, said Dad. Why don't you come look in the microscope? Lyndon peered into the lens and saw squirming squiggles and bubbling blobs. Awesome, said Lyndon with amazement. That's my it under there, said Dad with a smile. Huh? Said Lyndon. Your it is what you love to do, and it's something God has given you the talent to do. That's what makes it so special. Son, sometimes dreams are as big as the ocean and as small as a microbe. With faith and hard work, you'll recognize your it someday. I didn't realize science was my it when I was your age. Really? So I still have time to figure it out? Asked Lyndon, feeling relieved. Plenty of time, answered Dad. Just keep having faith. One cavity filled is as good as new, said Dr. Clark. That's it, said Lyndon with amazement and relief. That didn't hurt at all. It was a cavity, Drew. He ran his tongue over the smooth surface, now feeling the top of the tooth that had been causing him so much pain. He gave Dr. Clark a big smile. That's what I like to see, said Dr. Clark. I love to make people smile. Me too, said Lyndon. You're good to go, Lyndon, unless you have some questions for me. Lyndon had lots of questions. How do you squish that stuff into my tooth? And what's that tube thing? And what's that machine? One question at a time, laughed Dr. Clark, picking up a giant set of plastic teeth.
That's
How do we start with this? Yeah. A few weeks later, it was show and tell day at school. Lyndon stood in front of the class and explained some of the amazing things he learned from Dr. Clark. When you make people feel good, they smile. And that's when I grow up. And that's why when I grow up, Lyndon said, I want to be a dentist. He winked at Tony, who was watching from the doorway. Good for you, Lyndon, said Miss Lee. I think you can do it. I know you can do it, little brother. So, Drew, we learned in this book that if you dream big, what can you do?
You can be what you want to be.
You can be what you want to be. What do you want to be when you grow up?
NBA player.
An NBA player. So you can do whatever you want to do. Throughout this time that we've been, trying to get different things out to you, I never dreamed that I would be mayor. And one of the things that we talk about, and I like to tell this whenever we talk about to kids at school. So, Drew, if you see, can a turtle climb?
No.
Can a turtle fly?
No.
Can a turtle jump?
No.
So if we saw a turtle sitting on this chair, how did it get up there?
Climbed.
No, it can't climb, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So if you see a turtle up on this chair, do you know how it got there? It had to have help. And that's what I've learned about being a mayor. For you to get where you want to go, for you to be able to accomplish your dreams, you have to have help. And that's what all your teachers are there for. That's what I'm there for. And that's what we're going to do as soon as you get back to school. We're going to be there to help you. Thank you for listening to us, and read your books.